Croeso i'r sianel Blaid Llwyd. Once more, we're back in the echo of 2015. Let's see if you do manage to get the time of this video right. We'll see anyway. But let's pick up where we left off last, which was the start of Friday. Hey, is this useful? I look over at Raven and he holds up what looks like a porcelain canine doll of some kind. Maybe? Again, just set aside the stuff you think might be interesting enough for me to take pictures of. Okay. He puts it to the side and starts digging through the tub, rather carelessly, again. I sigh and turn back to the binder. I really wish Carl had agreed to come down. Again, he declined to help me, even after Raven arrived. But now I guess I have my answer as to why. More stuff is missing from the tubs. I know it can't be anyone else except Carl. The containers were turned the opposite way when I got down to the crawl space earlier this morning. On top of that, there were 2 more loose wrappers in the tub, along with... I trace a paw up the torn edges of a missing page in the John Begay section. The question, of course, is why he would be doing this. There's absolutely no reason for it. And the bizarreness of the situation makes it pretty much impossible for me to confront him on it. It's his house after all, though if he didn't want me going through it, why would he have shown it to me in the first place? And he isn't even trying to cover his tracks. In fact, I practically caught him in the act just a few nights ago. He must know now that I'd be able to put that together pretty quick. I close the binder, decide this will be the last time I'll be going through this stuff. If Carl doesn't want me digging up info on his family's history, then I'm not going to pry any further. Hey, look at this! Raven holds up a wooden train. Hey, this was probably the shit back in the day. I sigh. Probably. My phone buzzes. I take it out. My notifications tell me I have a text from Leo. Meet me at diner for lunch. Just you. For a moment I feel a pang of guilt. He told me how excited he was to hang out with me this week. Yet I spent almost all of my time here with Carl. Though from what I've gathered in text, Leo's been spending most of his time with TJ and Jenna since Lynx is apparently still feeling down. At least he had that to keep him occupied. My excuse that Carl has all the info I need for my project made my decision to spend most of my time here a little less weird. What time? What do you mean by just me? Hey, Rave, I'm going to go out to meet with some friends. Could you keep Carl company? Okay, sure. Raven seems busy pushing the train across the ground while attaching more cars. And make sure you keep that together. I want to get a picture of it later. Now, I need to talk in bravado. I sigh and put my phone away, pat in my pocket for my keys as I head up the crawl space steps. Leo waves at me as I walk into the diner. I'm surprised to see that the diner is completely empty. There's almost always someone in here. Something else is amiss too. I don't notice it until I've sat down across from the wolf. It's eerily quiet. The usual rockabilly tracks aren't playing from the jukebox. Hey. Hey man, what's up? The atmosphere is unreasonably awkward, and I blame most of that on the strange state of the diner. So apparently we have to go up to the counter to order. Janice isn't here. Oh, why's that? Leo shrugs as he sips on a milkshake. I don't know, sick I guess. It's then I remember the story Flynn had told us about Janice and her incident. I'm not going to bring that up because I'm sure that's what Leo's thinking as well. Well, I'm not really hungry anyway. What was it you wanted to talk about? Leo swallows slowly, then looks down at the table. So you probably know this whole thing didn't go as I'd planned. I look at the collection of condensation on his glass before I speak up. Yeah, sort of. Leo frowns if he'd hoped I would have tried to deny it. Well, that's mostly my fault. I should have done a better job at resolving shit. Now I frown. Hey. I wait until he takes his eyes off the table to look at me. You know, you're not our big brother anymore. He looks back down at the table. We're adults, believe it or not. We make our own decisions now. Everything we're doing right now is our decision, our fault, not yours. Leo's eyes get shiny, but he smiles. Yeah, you're right. Yes, I just want to go back is all. Hey, we're still young. You're talking like my grandpa. Leo laughs and leans back. Mine too. Leo jerks his head, see if he just remembered something. So what the hell happened between Jenna and Carl? I was actually hoping you could have told me that. I have no idea. She keeps going on about you not participating. I told her it was fine, but she can't seem to let it go. Yeah, well, it's really weighing on Carl, I think. Leo swigs his milkshake, foregoing the straw. He wipes away the cream from his muzzle as he brings it back down onto the table with some resolve. Well, I'm not letting it end like this. Let what end like this? Our group. You know, this might be the last time we're all together. That sentence immediately forms a lump in my throat. Yeah. So, I'm not going to let it end like this. Flynn pissed at TJ, Jenna pissed at Carl, you and me. He lets that hang, and when I don't say anything, he coughs. So, I planned something. What? His hesitant tone is making me nervous. He looks me in the eye and squares his shoulders. We're going to the lake tomorrow. He lets that sink in as I turn his words over in my head. I suspected that this is what he's getting at. I consider my words for a moment, not wanting to say the wrong thing. I don't know if that's... Leo puts up a paw. I thought this over real hard, Chase. That day, what happened to Sydney, it fucked us all up, changed us all. Not for the better either. It took something from us. Leo pauses, looking to the side as if searching for words. Flynn? Sydney was his best friend. And Carl, well, he's been depressed ever since. I feel the need to speak up. I don't know if you can pin all of that on what happened. Maybe we'd have turned out the same. He presses on. TJ, he saw Sydney die, saw him drown. Can you imagine that at 8 years old? And Jenna, has she ever been happy since? I shake my head. I always felt like that experience helped her in a weird way. She decided to go to school, leave Echo. He doesn't seem to be listening to me. And you, I love you, but you did change the day it happened. You're practically a different person. I don't have anything to say to that. And me, His voice catches in his throat and I close my eyes. Leo, I was supposed to be watching all of you. I was supposed to take care of... Leo stops talking, and I keep my eyes on the table while he grabs one of the brown napkins and wipes his eyes. When he speaks again, his voice is thick and cracks with emotion. His parents never said, but they trusted me with Sydney. I think they blame me. No, Leo. He falls silent. For a while we both sit there and share the feeling of being weighed down by 11 years of baggage. A good 5 minutes goes by, Leo staring out the window. The afternoon sun turns his normally red fur almost orange. We can't do this anymore. This might be our last chance to find some kind of closure. I take a deep breath, swallowing past the lump. Okay. He looks up at me, relief all over his face. So you'll go? I smile reassuringly at him. Of course. Have you told anyone else? He lowers his ears. No. Oh God. Are you going to tell them? I don't know. Leo. He does his signature shrug, pours out. I really don't know how else to get them to go. There's no way this isn't going to be a disaster. Hey, we gotta try. I guess. So, can you bring Carl with you? I think for a moment. Oh, shit, Carl has an interview. At what time? 10, I think. Oh, well, plan around it. Text me the actual time, okay? Anyway, I invited you out here to talk about more than shitty stuff. What have you been up to the past 3 years? And so we talk for the next 2 hours, catching up on everything. It feels good, and I regret not spending more time with Leo this past week. As we part in the small parking lot, Leo surprises me with a hug. I have a good feeling about this. It'll be hard, but we'll be better for it. I hug back, hoping with all my heart that he's right. Saturday. Dudes, I don't know about this. I peek into the bathroom, watching as Carl stares at himself in the mirror, running his fingers through his hair. You look great. Raven stands back, grinning with the trimmer in his paws, looking Carl up and down. Tell him, Chase. Carl looks at me, and I have to agree he looks quite a bit better. You look fantastic, a lot cleaner. Thanks. Now take a shower. Before Carl can say anything, Raven shoves them all back into Carl's chest before slamming the door in his face. Man, this is going to be great. If the interview was based on looks alone, he could have that job locked. Yeah, probably. And so with that, we move to the living room and wait. Half an hour later, Carl shuffles in quietly. We don't even know he's there until he clears his throat. How does he look? He looks good. I'm more concerned with the fact he looks more insecure than I've ever seen him. He shifts from hoof to hoof, not making eye contact at all, his fingers pulling at the rolled up sleeves. Oh my god, that looks fantastic. There's no way you won't get that job now. Raven sounds genuine enough, but then again, he's always excited. Carl looks over at me, and I give a start, realising how bad my silence must have seemed. You do look great, Carl. But, Raven chuckles and Carl's eyes widen. What? A beanie. Do you always wear that thing? Carl lifts a paw to it. Oh, usually. You can't wear that. How do you even get it on? It's stretchy. My head foot looks awful. Seriously, you can't wear a beanie to an interview. Carl's getting all fidgety again, so I butt in. Hey, actually it looks kind of nice with everything else you got on. Carl glances at me but stops fidgeting with the beanie. Raven looks at me, then back to Carl. Well, alright. Carl sighs and shifts around again. We watch him expectantly. Dudes, it's just... Well, this feels weird is all. It's new, you'll get used to it. I put up my phone to look at the time. Alright, we're ready to head out. We should get there early. As we head to the door, Raven makes as if to follow us. I kick myself for getting to talk to me earlier. I turn around to face him as Carl heads out the door. Hey, Raven? He stops. Oh, what's up? So, after the interview, me and Carl and our other friends, we're going to be doing something. Raven raises his brows. Oh? Oh, it's not that we don't want you to come. I really wouldn't mind having his upbeat attitude present at what will surely be the biggest downer of the week. It's just that it's really personal. Oh, really? Yeah, seriously, you want to come? It's going to be talking about some heavy shit. Raven seems to perk up a little at that. Oh, well, I wouldn't want to intrude. I'll just hang out here then. Yeah, we'll be back soon, okay? Sounds good, but you have to tell me how the interview goes. I know he's going to do amazing. I will and he will. See you in a few. Carl looks confused as I come out to the car alone. Where's Raven? I sit down and make a show buckling my seatbelt. So I wanted to tell you this after the interview so you didn't have more to stress out over. What? I pause as I back out, pretending to be distracted so I can gather my thoughts. So, Leo wants us to meet up at the lake. The lake? The lake? Yeah. Why? Closure, he says. Carl stays quiet as we drive through Echo, and I swerve to avoid all the potholes. As I'm merging onto the highway, he finally speaks up. Well, I think that's a good idea. Like, we've been sitting on this for how long? We should do it while we got the chance. I nod my agreement. I just hope everyone else feels the same. We fall back into silence, and it stays that way for the remaining 20-minute drive. Carl gets more nervous the closer we get. I can see his knees bouncing out of the corner of my eye as he stares out the window. I reach out and put a paw on his shoulder as we pull into the parking lot of the print shop. You look awesome and you can do amazing. Carl starts taking deep breaths, staring out the windshield. Just be yourself. Everyone loves a relaxed employee. No, I wish you'd let me have a smoke before we left. Yeah, go into your interview smelling like pot. Great idea. Carl giggles nervously, but otherwise doesn't move. Do you want me to go in with you? Carl shakes his head quickly, unbuckling his seatbelt as he opens the car door. Oh no, man, I'll be fine. Okay, cool. I'll be waiting. I grin at him, but he just shuts the door and ambles up to the print shop. He pushes on the doors, and when they don't move, he pushes harder, shaking the glass. I start to open my door to tell him to pull instead, but he seems to figure it out before I have to and disappears inside. Oh, Carl. Then I sit back and wait. I tried to take a nap since I went up all night with Raven and Carl gaming. The heat beating down through the windows becomes too uncomfortable. I turn the AC back on, then shuffle through the stations, but I only find twanging country and mariachi. I look at the time. 10:10 a.m. If the interview started on time, then he's probably almost done with it by now. I sort of want to go inside, but I know Carl wouldn't want me to. I settle back again and close my eyes, trying to get some relief from the failing AC. Then the door rattles and I hear haphazard hoofsteps. I open my eyes, but no one's there. I do catch some movement disappearing around the side of the store, and I lean around to get a better look. I wait, but Carl, at least I think it's Carl, doesn't come back from around the corner. Looking around, I slowly open my door. Carl? Nothing. Carl! I yell it, but he still doesn't come out. Feeling some dread build up in my stomach, I get out of the car and slowly walk around the side of the building. It's Snally, doing the print shop on what I think is a laundromat. Nothing is in the alley except for a few dumpsters and clumps of garbage. I step carefully around puddles covered in oil slick and wonder if maybe he just really wanted to smoke. Carl? Something shifts on the other side of one of the dumpsters and I hear sniffling. Wordlessly I walk around the dumpster to the other side. Carl is bent over, his back to me, paws on his knees. His whole body is shaking and his breaths are ragged. Holy shit, Carl! I'm at his side instantly, rubbing his back. What happened? Are you alright? The stench of vomit hits my nose, and I don't need to look closely to know what the puddle between Carl's hooves is. Carl makes sure to turn his face away from me, not saying a word. Shit. I dash back to the car and open the passenger door so I can get the glove box. I grab a few napkins before hurrying back to the Ram. He takes them from me wordlessly and starts wiping his face. The last time I'd seen Carl like this was just last year when he'd had his panic attack at school. I didn't think he'd have that problem now, after all the therapy and time away. I tried to rub his back comfortably in a clockwise motion like my mom would do for me. He's at least not hyperventilating. He has his horns pressed up against the wall, taking deep breaths as he wipes his face again. Why do I suck at everything? He says it quietly, between gasps. But I can make it out. No, Carl, you're fine. Let's just get you home. I start to pull on his arm, but he yanks it from me violently. Oh, don't touch me! I'm stunned into silence. I just stare at him, mouth open. He glances at me and his eyes are red, and for once it's not because of weed. Carl starts off towards the car on his own, spitting off to the side as he does. Carl, what happened? He whirls on me. Well, I fucked up, obviously. Any more fucking questions? His voice breaks apart in the last sentence, and he turns away from me as his face starts to screw up. My stomach feels hollow as I watch Carl get into my car. I've never ever seen him like this. He immediately hunches forward, head in his paws. I slowly walk up to the driver's side door, feeling like crying myself. I sit for a while, waiting to see if Carl is going to say anything. He does. Oh, I'm sorry. He blurts out through his fingers. I look over at him, scared to say anything in case I say the wrong thing. It was a disaster, man. He takes in a deep, shuddering breath. You could tell I wasn't into it right away. I was awkward as fuck. He leans back and tugs at his shirt. Ah, shit, this isn't me. And they knew it, and it got me nervous. I've been nervous ever since I got my clothes, since I got this stupid trim. At that moment, it feels like I've been punched in the stomach. I'm just now remembering the conversation we had on Wednesday. I closed my eyes for a moment, not wanting to believe I'd become exactly what he said I wasn't, what he liked me for not being. We sit in silence for a long, long time, until Carl finally looks at me and smiles. Oh, God damn it. We both knew this was going to happen, didn't we? I don't know, man. Fuck me very much for taking it out on you. It is sort of my fault. Nope, I'm the one that screwed up the interview. Carl settles back in his seat. Now that fucker out the way, on to the next one. I force a smile. You sure you still want to go? Hell no, bro. I don't think I have much of a choice. I sigh, looking out at the hazy horizon in the direction of where I know Echo is. Can't wait. So with that, I turn on the ignition and pull out of the parking lot, leaving the print shop and its alley far, far behind us. Leo, TJ, Flynn and Jenna are all gathered around a picnic table. It's set out neatly on concrete in front of the rocky shore of the lake. None of this existed when we were kids. In fact, it didn't exist when I left. Echo is trying really hard to stay alive. I don't need to get out of the car to gauge the mood my friends are in. Their shoulders slumped, faces turned away from each other. As I park, Leo's ears perk and he turns to wave at us. I take a deep breath and turn to Carl. You ready? Nope. Nevertheless, he opens his door and steps out and I do the same. The sun beats down on us, but being this close to the lake cools things down a bit. As we approach, I see Leo with his butt up against the edge of the table, while TJ sits next to him. Jenna sits next to TJ while Flynn sits across from Jenna. When Flynn turns around, he immediately zeroes in on Carl. What the hell happened to you? Oh, drugs, sex and rock and roll. Out of order, bud. No, I just put in the appropriate descending order. Flynn rolls his eyes and looks at me. Hey, fuckboy, maybe you can talk some fucking sense to this idiot. Leo's ears are flat, but he doesn't look at Flynn. Glad you guys can make it. Sure. Carl sits down next to Flynn and I sit on Carl's other side, across from TJ. The silence that follows is possibly the most awkward one of the week. Flynn snickers. See, this is stupid. How about we let it happen naturally, Flynn, instead of using every moment to take shots at people? Jenna's tone is icy. She doesn't even acknowledge me or Carl. TJ Miller keeps his head down, poking a sharp claw into the soft wood of the table. Flynn shrugs and starts to do his trademark I don't give a fuck lean-back pose, but gives a start when he realizes there's any backing on the bench. Well, I've been sitting here for the past 20 minutes and nothing's happened. Well, maybe you want to start us off? Flynn sighs. Well, we can talk about how I never agreed to this shit. How Leo's a complete fucking idiot for forcing this to happen. I wonder what he thought this would accomplish anyway. Well, that's a start, I guess. Flynn sets his jaw. Of course, talk to actually get us somewhere wouldn't be from me, and he's not talking. The temperature seems to lower in the impossibly hot air. I don't look at TJ to see how he reacts. After a brief silence, Leo speaks up. How about we start with you, Flynn? Flynn looks at Leo, brows raised. How do you feel about what happened? I see Flynn clench his jaw. What? His tone sends shivers down my spine and I feel Carl tense up next to me. Look out across the lake, the shimmering reflections blinding me. You never talked about it, maybe it'll help? Sweat pours down the back of my neck, builds up into my arms. Even with the wind coming off the lake, it's way too hot. I tell you how I fucking feel? How the fuck do you think I feel? Flynn screams and TJ jumps in front of me. You're just going to keep it buried your whole life, Carabo? I think about the time I used to come down to this spot every day and skip rocks with Jenna and TJ. Is that how you plan to fucking get us over this? By fucking making fun of me? I'm not making fun of you, I'm trying to help you. Talking its owners felt like shit for decades, a pretty weird way of helping. Please, guys. Don't you even fucking talk right now. Don't you dare talk to him like that. We all went through this. Calm down, Flynn. The table shakes as Flynn slams his fist down the wood, snarling and standing up. Damn it, calm down one more fucking... shut the hell up. I stand up. Everyone turns to look at me, including Flynn. I don't say anything, instead I just strip off my shirt. The hell are you doing? I don't answer him. Instead I take off my belt and slide off my pants so I'm only left in my boxers. Without a word I head to the lake. It's about 100 yards from the table to the lake. Almost the way there is sand, a good stretch for its pointy rocks. I make my way carefully over this section, remembering the numerous cuts I got in as a kid. I don't look back until I'm right at the water's edge. When I do, I see Leo follow me, in the process of taking his own shirt off. The rest of them are still sitting at the table. I don't care because this is really just for me. I step into the water and sigh at how cool it is, for I wade out further. Once I'm waist deep, I dive under the water and pop up several feet further away from shore. I'm neck deep at this point. When I look back, I can see Carl now, standing at the lake's edge, paws deep in his pockets. Behind him, Jenna is helping TJ across the rocks. Only Flynn remains behind at the table, watching us all. Leo's up to his chest at this point, and I swim in a circle around him before diving under, then popping up right in front of him. Yeah, sneaky otter. He splashes water in my face and I cough. Oh, don't be that way. I swim around him some more and laugh at how he flounders after me. He's always a terrible swimmer. I dive under the water again and swim up toward the shore, popping up about 10 feet away from Carl. Having fun? He's smiling, looking a lot more relaxed than he has all day. Probably because we just avoided a situation that had gotten really ugly. To my left, Jenna and TJ sitting on the boulder in the shallows, TJ's slacks rolled up to his knees. Him and Jenna seem to be talking, so I decide not to play the same trick on them as I did with Leo. Flynn, meanwhile, is standing up now, arms folded. The next little while I swim around, occasionally popping up in front of Carl or Leo, sometimes splashing them with my tail. It's a freeing feeling about finally swimming this lake again, having so much space. Flynn, after a good 20 minutes, comes out to the shore. He leans against an old familiar boulder watching us. There's no way for me to know how they're all feeling, if it's liberating like it is for me. Flynn is right in a way. We can't just talk about it because there's nothing to really say. What happened, happened, and no amount of talking can fix it. What we can do, or what I can do at least, is choose to move past it. And that's what I'm doing now. I just hope that's what they're feeling too. Eventually I run out of the exhilarating energy that so consumed me, instead drift to the bottom of the shallows. I lay on my back against the sand, staring up at the murky glow of the sun. I feel my eyelids get heavy, and I stretch out against the soft lake bed. It is, of course, a bad idea to fall asleep underwater. If that were to happen, though, I'd probably just try to breathe, get a nose full of water, and immediately wake up. Still, I decide it's best I avoid that if I can, and force myself to open my eyes again and swim to the surface. Except, I can't. I'm frozen. Every nerve in my body is on fire, and I struggle not to panic, to not start trying to breathe because that's all my body wants to do. I close my eyes, will myself to be calm. Sleep paralysis usually only lasts about a minute at most for me. I can hold my breath for 8, and I've only been under for... God, I have no idea. It feels like it's been a while. My chest is already starting to burn, and that usually means it's been at least 6 minutes. And this is starting to last a long time. Despite my efforts, panic starts to set in, and it sets in quick. I start jerking my body around, trying to get something, anything, to move. I don't understand why I'm not floating to the surface. I'm not trying to stay underwater. The seconds turn into minutes, and now my lungs are really burning. Something has to be holding me down. Maybe some kind of vegetation. The water begins to glow red as if blood has spread across the surface above me. I tug and pull, praying this is all a dream. I'm back in Carl's room, at any moment I'll wake up. You thought it'll be this easy? That's a good one. I try to turn my head towards the voice which is right in my ear, even though I'm underwater. Things go silent again. At this point I start to contemplate that I might actually die. I can't get my body to move. None of my friends know where I'm at, and now I'm almost out of air. Bubbles flow past my lips as my lungs finally give out, and blackness starts to crowd in on my vision. Oh, he's waking up. My eyes open slowly, painfully, and face to face with the ram, his muzzle wet with tears. Oh my God, he is. Get in room. I feel some rough paws supporting my back, turning me on my side. Can you breathe, Chase? Leo's voice is ragged next to my ear. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I sit up quickly, and a wave of dizziness threatens to topple me over again. I feel movement behind me, out of my field of vision. No! I can't believe it. I can't fucking believe this. Flynn's voice is torn and ragged. I barely recognise it. Calm down, Flynn. No, I forced to come here, then this shit happens. Guys, I need to go. TJ, Flynn, get over here. I feel Leo's support leave me. Carl is still crouched down in front of me, though. Oh my God, dude, what happened? Carl's gasping like he's the one that was just underwater. I don't know. Carl rubs my back as I rest my head in my paws. Maybe I can hear more yelling behind me, and Carl looks up too. No, don't! Leo, help! Despite my aching head, I turn around to see Flynn chasing TJ, grab him and throw him down onto the rocks. Flynn doesn't get any further though, because Leo tackles him with such force they fly a good 5 feet before smashing down into the rocks and sand. Leo wraps an arm around Flynn's neck and yanks up hard. Jesus. Carl stands up and starts gasping again. I try to, but I fall back on my ass. Carl reaches down to help me up. Oh shit, you're not okay. Carl steadies me, but I'm distracted with trying to see what's happening. Leo's leaning down with his muzzle right up against Flynn's head, yelling at him. Meanwhile, Jen is crouched over TJ. Carl starts to breathe heavily again, his wheezing picking up speed. I look over at him, his eyes are glazed as if he's watching everything from afar. Carl, what's wrong? I don't want to have another panic attack. I know I should probably stay and try to help, but I feel so fucked up right now. Besides, I don't think it'll help if Carl has a breakdown. I grab his arm. Let's get out of here, Carl. He looks at the scene a while longer, then turns away. Without another word, we make our way back to the car. I get in, barely noticing that I'm drenching the seat. Looking through the windshield, I see that my friends are still in the same position we left them. Except Jenna. She watches as we pull out and keeps watching us until we're out of sight. Carl stays in his glazed state as we make the short drive back to his house. Can't give him much of my attention though. I'm more preoccupied with the fact that something terrible just happened. Not only to me, but the entire group. Maybe this is a dream? Everything feels so surreal right now, like I'm watching all this happen from 100 miles away. I don't know. Look over at Carl, but his expression is still glassy. Looks exactly like how I'm feeling. What's wrong, Carl? I don't know. You don't? I'm cut off as a large coyote suddenly runs out into the street. But she's a good distance down the road, so there's no danger of me hitting her. I watch as she tears out into the sagebrush, zigzagging about, arms flinging out in all directions. Carl and I both watch her as we pass, silent. Something's happening in this town. To all of us. Once we get in the house, Carl heads straight for the stairs. Carl! Are you guys back? How did it go? Raven's voice calls from upstairs. Ray, something's wrong. Huh? What's wrong? I don't answer as I walk to the stairs. Carl just disappeared down. Once I get there, he's already gone. I make my way down the stairs. At this point, my headache starts to make a comeback. Carl? He's not in the basement either, but I can see the yellow light glowing from the crawl space. Something. I don't know what it is, but something feels incredibly wrong right now. Buzzing fills my head, the ground feeling unsteady, as if I'm walking on sand. Once I find Carl, we're both going to the hospital. I stumble down to the crawl space, and again, Carl's not there. I'm greeted to the familiar row of tubs, for a stack of them have been pulled away from the wall. Carl? Carl, what? I fall silent because ahead of me is a hole, about 3 feet high and 2 feet wide. What the hell? Carl! Plastic covers the tarp around as if the wall had been bashed violently to create the hole. Did Carl go through it? Getting on my paws and knees, I look into it. The darkness is inky and so black I swear I can touch it. As I crawl forward, my mind gives a violent jolt, and I arch my head back, teeth bared as my face spasms. And then I fall. And it feels like I fall forever. Wind blows pleasantly through my fur, seeping underneath and cooling my sweating skin. The smells of the desert, sagebrush and dirt overwhelm my senses. Everything is black around me. There are a million stars above me. I hear the smattering of small feet running circles around my body, snuffling of noses up against my sides and neck. Mixing into the sounds of the wilder words. Languages I don't understand, chanting and singing. The sounds are dancing. Then another language. I hear a word or two that I learned from Leo years ago. And then my own language. And above it all is a maniacal cackling, one that builds and fades before choking off into a sob. The first feeling I have is one of confusion. I feel stiff and cold and I'm lying back on something hard. I expect to see stars above me or I open my eyes, but instead all I see is blackness. Panic starts to well up inside me. My breathing quickens, and though it's hard and painful, I manage to push myself up into a sitting position. So I see a gentle glow coming from an opening about 30 feet away from me. Where am I? The last thing I remember was the lake. Wait, no, Carl's house is the last thing I remember. We went back to his house after the lake. Did I fall asleep in his house somewhere? I feel around on the floor with my hands and can feel wood underneath me. It creaks as I shift around. Carl? My voice comes out hard and crackly. I have to lick my lips several times to keep them from sticking together. I call out again, but more softly this time, because now I'm starting to wonder if someone else brought me here. When I don't hear anything, I start to crawl forward towards the light. My head throbs a little and there's a coppery taste in my mouth. Roving my tongue around, I taste the sour of bites along my cheeks. I start to run through a list of things that could have happened. I was in Carl's basement, then I just sort of seized up. Did someone hit me over the head? I stop crawling and start moving my hands around my body and over my head. No sign of any injuries. Aside from the cheek bites, it's really just the inside of my head that hurts. While I do this, lucidity starts to return in waves till the dam is broken, all my senses are falling back into place. At the same time, the panic starts to return as I realize how much this doesn't make sense. Someone had to have brought me here, wherever here is. I start crawling again, trying to keep my panic under control. I'm almost to the glow, but it's weird because it's coming from the ground. As I get closer, I hear a soft brushing behind my head. I tense and look over my shoulder. I'm greeted by the sight of inky blackness, so dark it almost feels alive. I get the impression of a giant mouth opening up in front of my face. The imagery gives me a jolt, and I lunge forward, deciding to get up on my feet so I can move fast. And then I fall in, but not for long. My senses are full of light now, and I throw my hands forward to catch myself. But I keep falling, and a split second before I hit, I realise there's a ladder. I instinctively grab at it. My head hits the rungs first, and I flip forward before landing on my feet. It happens on weak ankles, though. My right foot gives out and my ankle rolls. I hear a series of pops while the rest of my body hits the floor. I lay there for a moment, the sudden noise and violence of the fall stunning me. In my stupor, I feel a cold spiderweb of electricity pulsing from my ankle. That's what spurs me to move. I pull myself into a sitting position to clutch at it. Fuck. The pain isn't really bad, but something's definitely wrong, and I'm not sure if I can just walk it off. That's when I notice my surroundings. A long hallway stretches out to either side of me, lit by decorative chandeliers. Looking up, I see that I've fallen down a drop-down ladder from a small square in the ceiling. What the hell? I look back down my ankle. I wiggle it around, immediately feeling at the pulse of electricity that feels much more painful this time around. I grip my teeth. I spread my hands out against the wall behind me, pushing myself up slowly, making sure not to put any weight on my injured ankle. As I'm doing this, I hear a soft clopping sound coming from my right. At the end of the hall, it looks like it takes a sharp right. It sounds like the noises are coming from that turn. My throat tightens, and I press myself harder up against the wall. See a shadow slide up the carpet at the end of the hall when I hold my breath. The shadow stops too. I get the feeling that whatever it is might be holding its own breath. Finally, the tension gets to me, and I clear my throat nervously. Carl? Oh, Chase? Carl! I let a gasp of relief and almost sagged down the wall. More clopping of footsteps and Carl appears around the corner. His eyes are wide and his nostrils flare. He stumbles up to me, his hands clasped together nervously. Holy shit, dude, it's so fucking good to see you. I press up harder against the wall, taking more weight off my foot. What the hell is going on? I don't know. I just woke up. Are you okay? He looks at me, then down on my foot. Are you hurt? I gesture up the ladder. I fell down that thing. Carl looks up the ladder and the dark hole it leads up to. What are you doing up there? I don't know. I just woke up in the dark and tried to crawl out. Oh, shit. Carl bends down to look at my ankle, which is clearly starting to swell. Oh, can you walk? I think so. Kind of. He stands back up and looks around. Chase, I don't know what's going on. I just woke up in a bedroom up the hall like 20 minutes ago. Is this not part of your house? Carl lets out a breathy, incredulous laugh. No, definitely not. I was trying to find a window, but I can't. Maybe we're in a basement or something? The last thing I remember is your crawl space. Why would they have an attic in the basement? I look back at the dark hole in the ceiling. Maybe it's not an attic. Chase, I'm freaking out. It shows too. His breathing is picking up, his wide nostrils flaring again. I reach out and put a hand on his shoulder, giving him some reassuring squeezes. No, it's okay. Maybe we got really high or drunk or something. What's the last thing you remember? Carl starts clicking his fingers together again, looking away up the hall. The lake? Yeah, I remember we went back to your house, then down to the basement, and then... Carl frowns. I don't remember. I watch him carefully. I remember looking behind the plastic bins, and there was this... Help! We both jump as the scream comes from right down the hall. Carl and I both look at each other wide-eyed. What the hell? Hello, is someone out there? That sounds like Raven. Carl starts to hesitantly walk up the hallway, and I move to follow, and immediately regret it as I put weight on my ankle. It's completely stiff now, and pain shoots up into my shin like lightning. My gasping causes Carl to turn around in confusion, then his eyes light up when he sees my leg. Oh, shit. Here. He reaches out and I wrap an arm around his neck. He's sturdy and strong, easy to lean against, and I sigh with relief as I take the weight off my injured ankle. Somebody? We hobble our way down the hall, following the sound of Raven's panicked voice. We take a left at the end of the hall and confront it with an almost identical hallway to the last. That's when I start to smell smoke. You smell that? Carl puts his nose up. Something burning? Help me! I almost jump again as the sound comes from right on our left, the only door on the left side of the hallway. We both look at the door for a moment, Carl's ears perked straight up. And we both jump again as the door shakes from several heavy bashes that rattle the frame. Help! The cry is mournful, like he's given up. Raven? The shaking and pounding stops. Carl? Carl? The voice instantly turns hopeful, and the voice grows muffled as Raven is pressing his muzzle right up against the door. I'm stuck. The door won't open and there's a fire. What? Jace, there's something burning on the stove or something. I can't see it. Me and Carl look at each other in bewilderment. Guys, it's getting really smoky in here. I can't really see anything. He gives a cough. It's really hard to breathe. Alright, hold on a sec, man. We'll get you out. Carl shifts me to the wall so I can lean against it and tries the doorknob. The knob barely turns, clearly locked. Shit. Yeah, it's locked. It's getting really hot in here. Hold on. Carl shoves his shoulder up against the door, gives a few creaks but otherwise stays solid. Please help. His plaintive whimper is barely audible through the thick wood. What kind of lock is it? Maybe we could pick it? Carl studies the knob. I don't think a paperclip is going to work. I lean in to look and find myself staring at an old-fashioned keyhole. The hell? Raven, can't you unlock it from that side? No, there's nothing in there. Guys, I can't breathe. His voice is getting desperate again. There's no other way out? No other door in there? Raven doesn't answer, and Carl and I both wait for a good 10 seconds. Raven? Ah! We both jump for the third time before Carl presses his face up to the door. Raven, what happened? A few seconds all we hear is coughs, then Raven's voice is lower, up against the bottom of the door as if he's laying down. Something in the smoke, help! What's in the smoke? My mind flashes back to what I heard in the attic. Something, can't see, open the door! Fuck, alright man, stand back. I don't know if he's talking to me or Raven, but I take a step back anyway. Carl takes a few steps back, then throws his body forward, smashing up against the door. It shudders a little bit and I hear a crack or two, but otherwise there's no change. He tries again with the same result. Carl, I don't think that's going to work. Carl doesn't say anything, instead backing up until his back touches the opposite wall. He takes a deep breath and charges forward, his head down this time. Instinctively I close my eyes, imagining Carl snapping his neck right in front of me. The impact is much louder this time and it's accompanied by a crunch. When I open my eyes, it's not Carl's neck that's broken, but rather the wooden door. Carl's head is completely busted through the door, so his head is poking into the other side. I stare, expecting to see the tendrils of black smoke snaking out of the broken door. There's nothing. Carl sets his hands on either side of the door, apparently taking a look around. Raven, you okay? I walk up to Carl's side to put a hand on his back. Carl, what is it? Is it a fire? Carl braces himself up against the door before pushing back, yanking his head out of the opening. He comes up with a bunch of wooden splinters clinging to his head, fur and beard and sweatshirt. Nothing. I duck down and look through the opening as well, taking care to keep weight off my injured foot. I'm greeted to the sight of a brightly lit dining room and kitchen. But it's clear. No smoke in sight. It's completely black in here a second ago. I look down the trembling voice of Raven below me and see the husky curled up, his head poking up from his fetal position. Hey, Chase. Hi. I don't know what happened. There was smoke everywhere. It's like when you opened the door and it all got sucked out. I sniff, and now I can't even get a whiff of smoke aside from the residual taste I still have of it in the back of my throat. I hear a click next to my head, look over to see the doorknob twist. Pull my head out of the hole and Carl pulls the door open. Are you kidding me? It was locked, right? It was definitely locked. Raven gets up, brushing shaky hands down his shirt. Are you okay, man? Hey, yeah, just thought I was going to die for a second. I watch as Raven struggles to keep his ears perked. What happened? Raven takes a deep breath. I don't know, I just woke up in here and smoke just started coming out from the stove or oven or something. You said you saw something? Yeah, something in the smoke. It looked like arms or something. Carl and I look at each other. But it might have been just being the smoke. I look around the room, scanning for any sign of the black smoke that Raven was so adamant about having seen. I don't think he was just seeing things, because I'm pretty sure I hadn't imagined the smell. I promise I'm not lying. It's just what I saw. I think the bigger issue is that we're here at all. I mean, where the hell is here? I spread my hands out, giving an incredulous laugh. I thought maybe it was just another part of your house. Raven looks at Carl. I mean, I went upstairs after you guys and found this hole, and everything went dark. Carl looks down. The same here, I follow Carl. We both look at Carl, but he doesn't say anything, instead just moving past Raven into the large kitchen next to the dining room. I hobble after him, then reach out to lean against the counter. I try to gather my thoughts. Everything still feels dreamlike, surreal, and my thoughts are sluggish. Carl, do you have any idea what happened? I mean, that hole. Did you go there too? Carl sets his hands on his hips, eyes wandering around the room. Honestly, I can't remember anything that happened after the lake, man. Raven casts a sidelong look at me before moving next to Carl. Well, maybe it'll just take you a second before you can remember. I was really confused when I woke up here. I was curled up there, over there on that counter. Raven points to a marble-top counter and over a dozen pans hanging from a fixture attached to the ceiling. We stand there in silence as I imagine we individually absorb the situation we're in. Carl, are you sure this isn't some extension of your house? Maybe something that leads out of the crawl space? The ram laughs, but it definitely isn't genuine. Dude, I think I know if this was some part of my house. Unless my parents have just been building a secret kitchen in the ground for who knows how long. I glance at the lighting, which is definitely electric. Then over a wall looks like an electric stove. While everything sort of looked old-fashioned, there was a mixture of modernity to it as well. Where else could we be? Raven and I remember going to the crawl space and losing consciousness right after we found the hole, which is where you went, Carl. Carl finally does turn to me at that point, his brow furrowed. Do you think I had something to do with this? You know, I was implying that he might know more. Carl's sudden jump to being defensive catches me by surprise. No, I just wonder if you might have any more ideas since it's your house, you know. Carl laughs again. I'm struck by the fullness of it. Usually when Carl laughed, it's crackly and half-hearted. Now it's loud and a little abrasive. Think I just waited in the shadows and drugged you all up with acid or some shit? I don't respond. Just watching Carl as he stares back at me, breathing hard. Raven coughs loudly. Hey guys, let's calm down. You know, I'm kind of hungry. Why don't we make some food? That seems to break Carl of his stare down with me. He looks over at Raven and huffs out one of his more characteristic chuckles. Really, Raven? Yeah, that always makes me feel better. Raven starts opening cupboards, but each one is empty. Carl turns back to me, frowning. Sorry, Chase. I'm just fucking freaked out too. Thing is, I don't think we're in my house anymore. He chuckles again. I mean, are we even in Echo? What time is it anyway? I reach in my pocket, check my phone. That's where I remember I have a fucking phone. I always jump with the realization, shove a hand in my pocket to pull it out. Why didn't I think of it before? What? Phone! I pull out excitedly and hit the button to turn the screen on. And I'm met with a black screen. My phone's dead. Are you kidding me? I hold the power button down, but nothing happens. I can see Raven and Carl getting similar results. Raven shaking his as if that's going to help. Carl shakes his head. Were we out that long? Oh, this is crazy. I press a hand to my face for a moment. The idea this could still be some sort of dream coming to mind. I remember after taking an overnight job back when I was a freshman, now that I'd fucked up my sleeping schedule. That in turn gave me all kinds of fucked up realistic dreams. Sleep paralysis plagued me to the ends of my wits. I remember one time I thought I'd never be able to get up. I was stuck in bed. Each time I sat up and thought it was over, I'd end up sort of waking up again, still lying down, stuck in my paralysis. Dreams within dreams within dreams. No food either. My scattered thoughts collect together long enough for me to decide on the next course of action we should take. Alright, this is stupid. We should go out and look around. We'll find the way out eventually. Yeah, we need to do that. I looked around a little bit, but didn't find anything. I gripped the counter a little more tightly. I feel a slight wave of dizziness come over me, making everything feel even less real. The pain that's shooting up from my ankle is very real, and just a glance down the ever-growing swelling confirms it. The suspicion that we'd somehow been drugged grows. I don't want to upset Carl again, so I don't mention it. Okay, yeah, let's just stick together and go. We'll find the way out. Oh, I am hungry. We can eat when we get out. There's no food here anyway. I turn, even though I do as lightly as possible. The moment I set my right foot down, feels like 100 needles pressing to my ankle. Oh, fuck. Carl's on my side instantly, reaching out a hand to steady me. Dude, you alright? Oh, what happened? I lean all my weight on the counter at that point. Just letting my foot dangle as I hold it off the ground is painful. He fell down a ladder and landed on his foot wrong. What? It's only now that it's really starting to hurt. I say it through gritted teeth. The pain is actually making me sweat, and I'm realizing that I might have done more than just sprain it. I don't think I can walk like this. How did you fall down a ladder? You woke up in an attic. Here. Carl hunches down in front of me. My stupefied brain thinks of a butt sex joke, but I managed to keep it canned. Sure, I could just lean against you. I'll take too long. Besides, it looks like you can't walk at all right now. Hesitantly, I let go of the counter and let myself sort of fall forward onto the ram's back. He's sturdy and barely budges as I lean all my weight onto him. Carl reaches back with both hands and hitches my legs off the ground as he stands. I feel like all the muscles in his back flex as he does. Damn, Carl, you work out? Carl grunts. A little bit. I move my head to the side to keep from knocking my nose against his horns. It's a smart move. Just then Carl nods his head in Raven's direction. Yeah, I know he's kind of fucked up, but maybe grab a kitchen knife? Raven raises an eyebrow at Carl. Why? I immediately see what Carl's getting at. We have no idea where we are, or who put us here. Might be safely ready to defend ourselves, you know? Well, you said you saw something in the smoke. Raven's eyes widen, reaches out to slowly pull a knife from a silver-looking knife block. The husky frowns at the shing sound it makes. His ears down and elbows in. It's clear he's never used anything as a weapon before. But I can't blame him. Neither have I. I don't know if I should be the one to do it, though. Well, you're not strong enough to hold chase, so I got my hands tied. He looks back at me. If anything happens, though, I'll have to drop you and help him out, okay, man? I chuckle softly. Yeah, no problem. Let's just hope it doesn't have to happen. And with the shaky husky in the lead, we set off back into the hallway. Immediately it's clear that wherever we are isn't very large. 4 identical hallways lead us around in a perfect square. Each hallway has 3 doors on the right, 1 on the left, and a hatch in the ceiling that leads to the attic. What also becomes immediately clear is that the door on the left leads into the kitchen. But from the kitchen there's only that 1 door out. Each time we open the door of the kitchen we come to realise the angle in which we enter it is the same. First time this happens we're mostly just confused, wondering if maybe we backtracked somehow. After the second time though, Raven laughs. This isn't real. We're on drugs or something. We're all seeing the same thing. I'm just having this dream and none of you are real, eh? The husky's voice is bordering on crazy. That paired with his grin, paired with him holding a knife, is slightly disconcerting. Carl huffs, hitching me up higher on his shoulders. Alright, calm down. Just don't think about it. Let's try the other doors. I'm a little surprised at how well Carl is taking all of this. I wonder if part of it has to do with any of the weed that might still be in his system. We start trying the doors on the right, and this time things are different. The first door opens up to a wall, just an extension of the beige colour of the walls surrounding it. We stare at it for a few moments, the first time I get a deep unsettling terror in the pit of my stomach. I manage to keep it from rising to the surface, but all this bizarre imagery combined with a surreal haze is making me feel sick and claustrophobic. Well, that's definitely not the way out. On to the next door. Carl chuckles again. I feel myself clinging to his attempt at humour just to keep myself sane. The next door opens up to what looks like a bathroom. It's definitely not a modern one though, since it's complete with a pulled chain from the high tank. Well, you took all the essentials, right? Next door reveals a room full of tools and chains hanging from the ceiling, along with a sawhorse. The walls, though, are lined with wooden planks, and Carl gently sets me against the hallway wall before hurrying and peering at the wood. Fuck, it's just concrete behind it. I don't want to ask what the hell is going on again. I'm just starting to accept that wherever we are can't be explained. More doors are opened, 12 in all. One is completely white and empty. Another contains a frilly bedroom, which is where Carl says he woke up. Further along we come across what looks like an office, along with a room decorated with sofas and a chandelier. When we reach one of the doors in the last hall, though, something is different. The first thing I notice is the smell. Though it's faint, I can tell it's sweet in the most disgusting way possible. What is that? Raven holds a hand up to his nose as we approach the second to last door in the last hall. This one is clearly damaged. The wood is splintered in the middle, bulging out slightly as if it had been punched from the other side. We all stare at it for a moment, the smell growing stronger. Then it hits me. Oh God, do you think? I can't finish, covering my muzzle with both hands. Raven, being right up next to the door, steps back with an arm thrown up around his face, looking like he's about to throw up. I imagine the smell is a lot worse for him. But maybe we should skip this one, for now. Carl hesitates, then gently sets me down against the wall again. We need to check every door. This could be the way out, you know? He looks back at me, but I don't say anything, just grimacing at the door. Holds out a hand to Raven. Knife. After handing it over, Raven takes several more steps back, further up the hall. I press my hands to my muzzle, raising myself to shut my eyes. As Carl turns the knob, I grip my teeth. This room has no illumination, therefore we have to rely on the light from the hallway to see inside. As the light from the opening door spreads across the room, I see it's rather simple. The walls are concrete, peppered with craters and rocks. The floor is smoother, with webs of cracks in its surface. I can't see the ceiling, but I do see what's hanging from it. Once the door opens completely, there's enough light to fully take in exactly what it is. A noose. Frayed and old-looking, but unmistakably a noose. And that's where we're going to leave Echo for now. But we will be back. Yes, we'll be back. In 1 year or another, before very long. And just before I wrap up, as always, I have to say thank you to all my patrons. Very much appreciated. A special mention goes out to Kartek, Gopas Vissa, Besuksu, Dissonance, Sindri Dragowolf, Tiger Cub, Kunamulla, Kopi, Marcus, Lark Huskerton, Bastian, Brandon Bradford, Ida Corval, Anubis Silverwind, Brian Hall, Sumuto, David Taylor, Evan King, and Grizz. Wow, my top patrons. So next up on the channel, it's going to be Return into the North. So we head back to some more Dawn Chorus. Bit of a change in tone for that from Echo, I'd say. But, until next time, I hope you enjoyed Echo. Bye for now.